Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a story where technology, national security, and the global hunt for talent are all colliding. And it's all centered on the CEO of one of America's most important companies, Intel. It all kicked off with this, a real bombshell. Former President Donald Trump posts on Truth Social demanding, in all caps, that Intel's CEO resign immediately. This sent absolute shockwaves through the tech world in DC, and it instantly turned what should have been a standard corporate appointment into a huge political fight. So let's dig in. How on earth did the brand new leader of a semiconductor giant end up square in the middle of a political firestorm like this? Well, this didn't just come out of nowhere. The accusation really gained steam after a letter from Senator Tom Cotton to Intel's board. He raised these exact same concerns, pointing to Tan's long history of investing in China through his VC firm. The question being asked was, could this create a conflict of interest for the head of a company that is so critical to U.S. national security? Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we first have to understand the man himself, Lipu Tan. Tan's career is, a classic Silicon Valley immigrant success story. He came from Singapore, got his degrees from MIT, and became this brilliant engineer. He then founded a hugely successful venture capital firm and earned the nickname the turnaround artist for reviving the software company Cadence. His appointment to Intel was really seen as bringing in a steady, experienced hand to guide the chip-making giant. And this quote right here, it pretty much sums up his whole philosophy. His entire career has been built on making these bold but calculated moves. You have to wonder, though, if taking the top job at Intel with all this political heat might be the biggest calculated risk he's ever taken. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Lipu Tan, he's not an anomaly. Not at all. He's actually part of a much bigger pattern that's shaping the whole tech industry. When you start looking at who's running the world's biggest chip makers, you see a trend. You've got figures like Hock Tan, the Malaysian-Chinese CEO of Broadcom. This guy is a total force, famous for these aggressive takeovers that have completely reshaped the semiconductor world. And then, of course, there's Shou Zi, the CEO of TikTok, who's also from Singapore. He was just in that same hot seat, right? Getting absolutely grilled by Congress about his company's connections to China. When you put it all together, what you see is this incredible pipeline of talent from Southeast Asia rising to the very top of America's most powerful tech companies. So what gives? Why are leaders from this specific part of the world so prominent, especially in a business as tough and demanding as semiconductors and hardware? Well, the numbers tell a huge part of the story. Get this. A staggering 70% of all tech workers in Silicon Valley are of Indian or Chinese descent. That's just incredible. And it's not by chance. It's the result of some really deep cultural and educational trends. A huge piece of the puzzle is a major cultural emphasis on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. In countries like China and Singapore, becoming an engineer is a really big deal, a highly respected career. And the result? China is on track to produce almost double the number of STEM PhDs as the US. That creates this massive global talent pool that American companies are eager to tap into. And it's not just about filling cubicles. This talent is rising straight to the C-suite. Look at the data for high-tech. Almost 1 in 5 CEOs and nearly a quarter of all founders are foreign-born. That's way higher than in other industries. So this pipeline isn't just helping the American workforce. In a lot of ways, it's actually leading it. And here's the crucial point. This isn't just a nice to have. It's an absolute necessity. The U.S. is staring down a massive shortage of engineers, especially in semiconductors. We're talking a projected gap of 300,000 people by 2030. Without this flood of talent from overseas, America's whole innovation engine could be in real trouble. But this reality, this need for global talent is on a direct collision course with a really powerful counter-movement in American politics, economic patriotism or nationalism, which sees all this global connection not as a strength, but as a huge weakness. So you might be asking, why all the hostility? Well, it isn't just random anger. It's actually driven by a pretty coherent political philosophy that puts national security and being self-sufficient above everything else. You can see this thinking laid out pretty clearly by people like Senator Tom Cotton. He argues for rebooting what he calls an American system, where the government makes strategic investments in key industries so that the nation isn't dependent on other countries, especially potential rivals. And look, this isn't just talk. There's a real agenda here. We're talking about concrete steps like 1. Pull critical supply chains for things like medicine and, yes, semiconductors out of China. 2. Use government money to fuel our own R&D and manufacturing. The whole idea is to create an industrial base that can stand on its own and is secure from foreign pressure. So all of this builds to the fundamental conflict, right? The real tension at the heart of this entire story. What's happening with Intel's CEO is really a perfect snapshot of the crossroads America finds itself at. On one side, you have the logic of globalism, which says that to be the best, you have to recruit the best minds on the planet, period. On the other side is the logic of nationalism, which says, hey, hold on. In a dangerous world, we have to prioritize our own security and self-sufficiency first. And that brings us right back to the central question, the one at the core of this whole thing. In the global race for technological supremacy, what matters more? A leader's proven talent and ability, or the country they happen to be born in? How America answers that question, well, it's going to define a lot more than just the future of one CEO. It's going to shape the future of its tech industry and its place in the world for years to come.